SAP Academy SAP HANA Demo session. SAP Academy is a subsidiary of SAP Systems US. SAP is a partner of SAP as well as a customer of SAP. SAP acquired SAP license to conduct SAP training courses across the globe for various SAP products. Basically, our training is based on hybrid instructor-led as well as online SAP training, which includes both classroom as well as online training, supplemented with bite-sized videos and materials, study materials, an interactive hands-on session on the system, as well as quizzes and exercises, completing with the project work. Why a big hype for SAP HANA? A lot of consultants, companies talk about SAP HANA, and especially the IT consultants, employees want to learn much about SAP HANA and what it could do for their company, as well as how they could upgrade themselves in the ever-developing competitive environment. SAP HANA is a database just like any other database like Oracle, MS SQL Server, or IBM DB2, but a lot of more features are included in SAP HANA. First of all, it's an in-memory. What is in-memory? In-memory is the whole database resides in the memory. That's the beauty about it. So it's super fast. Another thing is column-oriented. Most of our relation database are row-based, and HANA is more of a column-based. It doesn't mean that they don't have row. They do have row for certain business purpose, but mostly it's column oriented, and then obviously it's a relational database. Its primary function, just like any other database, it stores, retrieves data as requested by the application, but more to it. In addition, it performs advanced analytics, mainly predictive analytics, spatial and data processing, text analytics, text search, streaming analytics, graphic data processing, and also includes ETL capabilities just like any other data warehousing products, as well as even you can develop a standalone application on SAP HANA just like any other database. More importantly, for any databases, when you fetch certain information and you do your business calculation on your application layer and then push it back to the database to commit it, either to insert a record or update it or delete it. But whereas in HANA, the beauty is you can even send the highly complicated computation inside SAP HANA. So your application layer becomes pretty light. So that's the major advantage, one of the major advantage with SAP HANA. Most of the databases uses for online transaction processing, and then another database for their OLAP, that is the online analytical process separately. So they have two different processes, two different appliances with their databases. When there are hardwares different, databases are different, application layers are different. Here in this case, everything resides in the one platform, meaning you can have your transaction process, that is OLTP, as well as your analytical process on the same system. So you save a lot of money on the appliances, as well as it's going to be one system where you have all your application layer as well as the front end layer where the graphical analytical displays to your business needs. So everything resides in the same system. And more importantly, as mentioned earlier, its column-oriented system stores all data in single column in the same location rather than storing all data for a single row in the same location. It's a row-oriented system. That is the legacy databases like SQL Server or Oracle or IBM DB2. So that's a major difference. I mean, you will see more about what the advantage of column-oriented HANA system. So HANA is not only a database, we call it as an appliance, and it has to be married well with the hardware too, not just the database. So there are SAP approved vendors for your production environment, for your development as well as the queue. You could use other product, I mean other hardware appliances, but for production, you have to go with the hardware provider who's been approved by SAP. So it consumes a lot of memory, meaning all your database resides in the memory. So memory is a big thing, as well as the parallel processing in HANA is a very big advantage. You can process parallelly. You can have multiple parallel processes. So your hardware plays a key role. So they call it as the whole HANA system as an appliance, not just the database. Let's discuss about how data is being used today in our corporate environment. First and foremost, the analytic data is derived and segregated from transaction data. So it requires a separate database with separate schema. One is optimized for the transaction and another is optimized for analytics. So what typically happens in a corporate world to handle the transactions as well as your analytic is you have two different hardware as well as two different database and two different security and other related operations, different resources, and within that for the transaction applications, if it's one system, that's fine. If it's multiple different systems, you have different applications, different programming tools and other stuff, and then you retrieve all the your transaction data on a day-to-day basis and move that to your analytical systems, which has its own database because it has to be segregated differently for the analytical purpose, and it has its own security and other overheads. So this is a typical scenario in a regular business environment. Let's talk about the importance of accessing the right data at the right time. How critical is it for you as well as your organization to have access to the right information at the right time to basically support your decision making, analysis, or planning requirement? At least 83% of them responded saying that having the right information at the right access at the right time is more critical for their business. So, for very critical information, they're saying 51% of it. So, is it possible to achieve that in right now in your current environment? Most of the cases, it's not. Which of the following changes or improvements would you expect to have most positive impact on your organization? This is for both business as well as IT. The survey says faster analysis, ability to evaluate more scenarios, different scenarios across cross functionality, also faster access to the information, You might have seen some queries sitting for more than 15 minutes or even half an hour. And in reality, the business should not wait more than a minute or two to access the query, the results from the query. So, more accurate analysis, ability to aggregate more data sources. The aggregation is a challenge in most of the cases. It takes days to aggregate certain information, especially in the financial areas. So there are multiple aggregate tables, and this has been a typical scenario in most of the corporation. Closing a book is like a month. You're basically working on dead data. Ability to aggregate structured and unstructured data, meaning structured is your regular transaction, unstructured would be a social media. Basically, you want to figure out while selling your product from the social media whether it's been properly accepted by the public. Those kind of information which are required immediately to make a decision accordingly to restructure your business or whatever condition you want to do with your business case. Decrease in number of system requirements. Those kind of information. I mean, this shows the percentage of how much they would need improvement needed in their organization. As I explained earlier, let's talk about the information delay to your business user. It combines both batch and online process, which takes over 2 days. An average, or the estimate time to process sales, finance, or R&D data and make it available for analysis by the business user. When you look at sales, it might take 2 to 3 days, or 4 to 5 days, or even 6 to 10 days, and or 11 plus days. When you will see the percentage at the bottom. Same thing with finance. Finance takes quite a longer time. R&D too. When R&D is research and development, even if it takes a little bit longer, it's okay. But if you look at finance, it takes basically 2 to 3 days, at least more than close to 18%. So this is a scenario happening on a day-to-day basis for some of the organizations, large organizations, even though they spend a lot of money on the IT infrastructure from the business. This is a typical scenario. Here in this slide, let's talk about the delays happening right now in current environment. And it's because of the technology limitations. In this survey, which has been taken, if you see that they're using predictive analysis and simulation, at least 45% there is a limitation. They cannot do it right now. Working with real-time data, that is above close to 45%, they are not able to get real-time data. Working with big data, that is a large volume of many types of data, again it's over 40%. Providing business users with more granular data, it's most of the cases it's kind of impossible to give a granular data. It takes ages, and to give from the analytics to the granular data, it's not possible. Allowing business users to create their own reports and analysis, it's more like a self-service. Business, most of the cases are their handicap relies on IT. Self-service is more of a challenge, and in most of the organization, they're not properly equipped to give them self-service. Doing detailed search, you need to have IT folks, resources, plus the business folks in a group and do a brainstorm for a particular scenario research. This is typically happening in any organization as such because of the technology limitations. Let's talk about the data today. We are working with past data to do analysis to make future decisions. When you look at your landscape, your application database is separate and your data warehousing appliance is separate, and your big data, Spark, Hadoop, etc., are residing separate. And it's a time consuming task which is happening to integrate data from application layer to your data warehouse, from data warehouse to your big data. And this is a typical scenario. It takes days. I mean, we already saw it takes like 2 to 4 days to move the data and then do the analysis. And also performance is going to be a bigger challenge. To overcome these challenges which we discussed earlier, the only option is you have to bring your transactional as well as the analytical data in one platform. So bring current live data together to make a decision, make actions in the moment. You need to have taken action in the moment. When once the damage is made and then you want to fix it with your historical data, that's not a smart way of doing business. So you need to have, when the transaction happens, you need to know, you need to be able to analyze, you need to perform complex query between cross functionality of all your transactions, and then fine tune your business process. So if you look at this, your operational data, your extended analytical data, the transitory operational data, the core, sorry, managing all this different data with complexity, performing complex query fast enough for immediate action requires in-memory database core. That's the answer right now is only HANA from SAP. Here in this slide, we're going to look at a difference between SAP HANA, SAP Suite on HANA, and S4 HANA. SAP HANA, we did see that its capabilities, and it's like a regular relation database, but it has some special functionality which other database could not perform, like in-memory column oriented and business functional process happening within the database, those kind of stuff, which is called SAP HANA. And the business suite on HANA is nothing but SAP. You might have heard MM, SD, PP. Those types of modules reside in a combined central component called SAP ECC, which is nothing but it's their SAP's ERP system. In typical scenario, previously before HANA was introduced, ECC can have any backend database. It could be an Oracle, SQL Server, IBM DB2, or any other database like MaxDB or Informatics. So it can run on any database. HANA, SAP was never a database development company like Oracle. HANA is the new product they have. There's a lot of acquisition done by SAP to develop SAP HANA in-memory database. More than that, they don't call it as a database. It's an appliance because it has to be married well with the hardware too, because the database resides in the memory. So The SAP HANA suite on HANA right now, even you can have your existing ECC, that is their ERP system, backend can be HANA. So that is SAP suite on HANA. And S4 HANA is nothing but upgrade of their SAP ERP system, that is SAP ECC. Because of the HANA's capability, they have done a tremendous improvement in their ERP system, which is the core uh, business for SAP. Okay, for example, let's take an example of finance. When we talked about aggregate tables, every time the all you SM finance gets a lot of transaction from different transaction systems, creates invoices, debit notes, credit notes, assets, taxes, all kinds of things. I mean, every time a financer's application is bombarded with so much transaction, and you need to aggregate all this information to see a holistic at a higher level. And so let's say you have so many branches, so you need to connect so many branches finance system and then again aggregate. So you get the point that everywhere you need to have aggregate information, and then your trial balance, your balance sheet. So typical scenario, man, you need to have so many chartered accountants sitting in your company or CPS working with the IT and doing all kinds of consolidations to aggregate. There's a lot of temporary tables, which really happens in SAP ECC too. It's no exception. But with S4 HANA, because SAP HANA is in memory, you don't need to have all these aggregate tables. I mean, those tables are eliminated. For example, more than 140 core tables were used in SAP Finance and SAP FICO. Now it's been reduced to 35, meaning all the aggregate tables are removed because you can go up to the transaction level right now using HANA, as well as, I mean, they have included more columns in the tables. They might, so new tables has been introduced and old transaction tables has been removed. So as I said, there are close to 35 core tables right now rather than 145, which is a tremendous reduction of complexity. So all those codes are removed, and so now SAP S4 HANA is a three-tier. Man, regular SAP ECC is just like an IBM system. IBM is like a green monitor character-based system, and SAP is nothing but the same with blue screen with character-based. Now, because of the revolution happening in the industry with the mobile device and other things, they have introduced SAP UI5, which is their front-end layer. It could render into any devices like tablets, mobile devices, your laptop, or anything. And also, the business users don't need to stick to their desk to look at their application on a regular basis. So they could be on the move and they could check on their tablet or mobile device, able to approve or certain transactions, or and look at all the analytical information on the fly. And the middle layer is the S4 HANA, and the and the back end is SAP HANA. So that's the beauty about this S4 HANA. And the only thing in S4 HANA is it cannot be attached to any third-party database. It cannot go with Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, which is a big challenge for SAP 2 right now, because they're forcing the customers to move on to S4 HANA with HANA. So there is a challenge, and there is a deadline for all the SAP client customers where they need to move to S4 HANA by 2020. They might extend it, but generally speaking, it's a bigger migration which will happen, which is happening right now in SAP world. Here we can talk about traditional database as well as the HANA in-memory database. And on the left side, you see that you see a traditional table where student ID, student name, gender, and major subject is being displayed. It's a typical table which resides on any traditional database. And let's see how it will be saved in HANA in-memory database. You see different columns in HANA in-memory database. A single table is split into four and it's been compressed. Look at that. I mean, for example, gender, male and female, we have only male and female indicator. And even the name for S2, if you look at Harry is there, and then S9, there is another student named Harry, but as for a student name, only one Harry has been stored. So there are pointers connecting to each one of them. And also similarly with the major subject, we have only four of them, whereas you see for each student, it's their major subject has been stored. What that means is there is some tremendous data compression happens in HANA database. For example, the main thing is HANA stores only distinct values in the database, and there are index tables to point each one of those tables. So one table is stored into four, and you have a index server which manages all the relevant transaction informations. So typically what happens is, let's say your client, your organization has 10 GB of data, and you plan to migrate that to HANA. When you migrate, your 10, let's say 10 terabytes, 10 terabytes of data becomes 1 terabyte. So it's 10:1 compression. As you keep on using the database and using with the application layer, it's going to further, typically what happens, it has to increase, right? In this HANA memory, inbuilt memory, the data is going to be even further compressed. Your 1 terabyte could be around 900 GB. So this is a typical scenario. So that is SAP HANA in-memory database. This is a high level which we can cover much more in detail in the class. Let's look at SAP HANA Business Data Platform. You have three options. One, you could keep your HANA system on-premise, or you can have it on your cloud. Could be AWS, Google, Azure, or any other cloud provider, and also you can have on a hybrid way. What is hybrid way? Let's take SAP HCM, which is Human Capital Management, which is their flagship HR product. Still, payroll resides on the core SAP ECC, and they do have a cloud-based system called SuccessFactors, which resides in the cloud. So the payroll happens on-premise, but other operations are happening in the cloud product called SuccessFactors, where you can have your recruitment process, your compensation process, your learning process, all those other application related to HR happens in the cloud, and it's a separate instance which you need to buy from SAP. And same thing, when certain information you can keep it on premise, and certain information you can keep it on in the cloud. So that's hybrid. And coming back, you can have, as I explained earlier, you can have your transaction process and analytical process in memory within the database. So it's going to be super fast. So to get into HANA, you need to bring the data from the external source. While bringing from number of external data sources, you want to be careful in cleansing the data for the quality. So that could also happen within SAP HANA and its products. And then within HANA, with one data copy, your analytical process, you can have a spatial, which is your maps from point A to point B, the distance, those kind of information could be there. Longitude and latitude, and those information could be heavily, right now it's been heavily used with the spatial analytical process. Heavy graphical process has been used. As I said, search is going to be very super fast. Your unstructured data, like text data, could come from any source, like your Word document or any type of documents. For an example, you could bring that into HANA. Predictive analysis is a big thing happening. New type of jobs you might have heard about, like data science, when they work along with the business to do predictive analysis. There's a lot of formulas involved in it. So uh, those days of using historical data to do prediction or planning has been kind of getting eliminated. They want to know what is happening today, tomorrow, next month, next year. That's happening through predictive analysis. Streaming, when if any process is producing data, you could retrieve them streaming from that particular process. Time series, it's like your time machine. Let's say I want to go back to 1992, that can also happen within HANA. And machine learning, which is a big thing, IoT is becoming a very big thing, and it also produces data. I mean, any machine today can produce any data, and you could use that using streaming um, analysis, and you can bring that into HANA for your analytical purpose. Document stores, and also you can do custom applications on SAP HANA, or third-party apps could be developed. Let's the You have n number of options to do whatever you want with SAP HANA. So that's the greatest advantage. Let's see. I mean, in this training, we are going to work on the analytical process, meaning we will be doing a lot of modeling using your transaction data, and doing some analytics and other advanced subjects in it. Here, let's talk about SAP HANA editions. Typically, we have two categories. One is a runtime license, another one is full-time license, full use license. The runtime license is where you could use your SAP ECC and for SAP S4HANA as a backend database, or for your business warehouse SAP BW. For that, you can use as the backend database. And full use license is nothing but both SAP and non-SAP applications, for where you could create your own custom application on it. So it's just like your car. You can buy your base edition, and then if you want to upgrade certain things like navigation or self-driving, those kind of stuff. Similarly, in SAP, you could have those upgrades done based on your organization need. It doesn't mean that you need to buy the enterprise edition, which is full blown, and you don't use it. So anytime if there is a need, at that time you could decide to upgrade your HANA edition. So let's talk about some 10 editions right now, which is SAP HANA base edition, which I already explained. It's just a database only, and SAP HANA platform edition, which is just a little bit an upgrade, and enterprise, it's like a full-blown edition within the HANA database. And BW on HANA, which is like a runtime license, and SAP HANA Cloud Platform, which I already explained, like SuccessFactors is one of them. They have Ariba, Hybris, and similar types of application SAP has hosted, where it could be integrated with your on-premise application too. And Suite on HANA is nothing but your ECC on HANA, and HANA Enterprise Cloud is the same thing as the whole ECC resides on the cloud. SAP HANA Live is content. Basically, what that content means, your transaction system is there. You're pulling the table. While pulling the table, you don't know what to pull and how to do modeling and on those table and give the business result. So SAP HANA has already created a product called SAP HANA Live, where they know what information are needed from each one of those tables and created a model on its own. And as a business user or an IT HANA modeler, you could just pull the HANA Live and retrieve data in real time from your transaction system, and then further remodel or reuse those HANA views to build based on your business requirement. That's one of the things. And ninth one is S4 HANA, which we already talked about. HANA could be its data, should be its database, HANA backend database. There is no other option. And B4 HANA is nothing but an upgrade of BW on HANA, where 50% once the data has been populated to a certain layer, advanced DSO, ADSO they call it as. From there onwards, you can do just like regular modeling and then expose that to your business. So there is something called C4 HANA. There's so many things coming up into the market, and they also rename their products. So keeping up to that with that is kind of a challenge, but it's better to know what type of editions we have right now. Hope this helps. Let's talk about SAP HANA modeling. SAP HANA information modeling, which is also known as SAP HANA data modeling, is the heart of HANA application development. What we can do with this, you can create modeling views on top of database tables and implement business logics to create meaningful reports and analytics, or even expose this to business for them to create self-service reports or analytics using SAP products and third-party products. So all said, what I'm going to learn from this course, and in our previous slide you saw the modeling, so you'll be learning SAP HANA modeling to create pretty basic modeling to pretty advanced complicated modeling. So that's the goal of our training. And also you see two versions of SAP HANA. One is SAP HANA 1.0, which is stable release. And the next one is SAP HANA 2.0, which is an innovation release. What's the difference between this? SAP releases service packs every 6 months. Okay, so if you take SAP HANA 1.0, we have from SPS, which is called as service packs, from 1 through 12. So every 6 months they're released, and after SPS 12, there was a major change to SAP HANA. So there are a lot of engines within SAP has changed. So people who have learned SAP HANA 1.0, there will be a lot of difference in SAP HANA 2.0, as well as some of the modeling. I mean, a lot of changes within the modeling has happened, and which is not carried. Something has been left within SAP HANA 1.0, and new things has been carried forward to SAP HANA 2.0. Even in SAP HANA 2.0, right now the service pack is 3. You will be working on SAP HANA 2.0 SPS 3, which is the current version. We will be updating every 6 months as soon as SAP releases new service packs. And each service packs has a maintenance. We are talking about production, okay, not for the development, for our learning purpose. Generally, it takes 2 years. They have a maintenance duration. Last SPS of HANA 2.0 will have a 5-year maintenance duration, meaning when they end the service pack with SAP HANA 2.0, the last service pack will have up to 5 years, and then they'll jump on to SAP HANA 3.0. I mean, HANA is pretty much an agile product, and they keep on upgrading, which is not typical with SAP. And right now, they have become too much agile. So a lot of new products are coming into SAP HANA, which we will be talking about that in our modeling course. And once you complete this course, you can also take the other courses. So what is the goal here, man? I'm going to learn SAP HANA 1.0 or SAP HANA 2.0. Thing is, since it's a stable release SAP HANA 1.0, you need to know what is happening within SAP HANA 1.0. We will start with that and then move on to SAP HANA 2.0 with the current development. So you have both the world knowing everything between the legacy as well as the innovation product. So let's see about the HANA modeling curriculum. So we'll be having an introduction session about the course, and the next thing we'll be having an architecture, what is currently happening with SAP HANA and the new few features with HANA 2.0 SPS 3, and we'll see different scenarios of deployment options within using SAP HANA. And then what all the software components which we'll be using to access SAP HANA. And then you'll have, as explained earlier, you need to have some basic SQL knowledge. If not, we have started with a very basic SQL scripts and procedures. And it's all hands-on. You can see each one of the video and practice it on the system. And then the SAP HANA information view for the HANA 1.0 stable release. So you will see different types of views which you could create in HANA. And once you move to HANA 2.0, there's a migration involved. We'll also see how to migrate your existing models which you have developed into HANA 2.0. And then within HANA 2.0 SPS 3, we will see SAP HANA information views, how to create, and what all the new functionalities has been added to SAP HANA 2.0. The data provisioning is nothing but how to get data, your data source from other systems. Let's say you're migrating from a non-SAP environment. How do you do that? And what are the tools which you will be using in it? And let's say even from ECC or ERP system SAP, how you want to retrieve data in real time. Those kind of scenarios we'll be looking in data provisioning. And HANA reporting is once you create this modeling view from the analytical view or the calculation view, how the report is being exposed to the business. And even you can expose the views to the business. The business can create their own reporting and analytics from the model which you have created. So we'll see different scenarios with different products which we can use for reporting and analytical purpose. And then SAP HANA management and administration of models. It's more of a higher level where you could administer and manage the models, which you will also learn. This user management, authorization, and privilege of models is more of an admin job, basically a security job, but you will learn how to do that. And performance and optimization of models, again, this is a senior level requirement. You could do performance, you can see how to fine-tune your model and optimize it so that you don't lock your tables or those kind of informations which you would task which you would be performing on it, and we will show you different scenarios to do that. And advanced analytics is nothing but your predictive analysis, your business function language, how to introduce that into your model. And transports is nothing but even in your production and in your landscape, you will have a development quality as well as your business usage for production, and how you migrate whatever the models which you have developed or modified. You need to do a transport, and how you do that typically in an organization landscape. So we'll explain that, and also we will have a lecture to explain what would be the current scenario in any organization where you fit, how what type of operation you do, all the stuffs which we would explain on how to survive and prove yourself in the organization. And final step is we are going to introduce new topics other than the modeling, and where you could upgrade yourself in further modules. So if don't stick with just modeling, then you can, that's a bigger task. But if you know other areas, then you could stand out of the crowd. So that's, those topics will be additional trainings, but we will expose that at a high level. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, we can talk. So let's see how it works. This particular training, HANA modeling. Each session is like an interactive textbook featuring pre-recorded videos, quizzes, and exercises. The course author will conduct a live session to explain the material, present interactive demos before conducting a new session. Course fees includes 3 months of SAP HANA access, and help from your creator or peers. What that means is if you have any questions, you can leave a comment in the below the video sessions or send an email to your instructor. You can also reach out to your peers so you can exchange or debate ideas, discuss course material. There will be quizzes and exercises, so you could collaboratively discuss and do those exercises. We have seen that this approach has proven in mastering the concept. And finally, the certificate, this course is geared towards getting a HANA certification. Earning an official recognition for your work by obtaining SAP HANA certification, you can share your success with your employers, colleagues. You can put that on your resume. Also, add it to your LinkedIn profile. So this is how it happens, and thanks for attending to the SAP HANA morning demo session, and we look forward to see you in the class. If you need more information, please reach out to us at info@celltechacademy.com. One of us will get back to you. Please leave your contact number in whichever country you are, as well as other information like email. Thank you very much. Have a great day.